Hello, my name is Andrew Squilari, and during this short instructional video, I'm just going to go through Bitcoin halving and what it means, and is it a signal for the next crypto boom. Three key points that I'm going to go through during this presentation are: what does Bitcoin halving actually mean, what has occurred in the past, and where are we now in the timeline of cryptocurrency. On May 11th, 2020, the amount of Bitcoins entering the market that were new halved. Prior to that date, there was 98,000 new Bitcoins being mined and put into the marketplace for people to buy. That was totaling $1.3 billion of new coins, Australian dollars of new coins, going into the market. As of the 11th of May, only 48,000 new Bitcoins are going into the market. So of course, there's a lot less money being used to purchase these new coins, and the demand that is coming in on Bitcoin now is going through exchanges and through over-the-counter traders, which means there's a big supply reduction in the amount of new coins, and it's also coinciding with a huge increase in demand for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically. What that means is, medium to long term, the trend for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general will be very positive throughout 2020 and beyond. Now, this is a Bitcoin halving chart, a historical chart just showing what's happened in the past. So for the first couple of years that Bitcoin was around, it grew nearly 18,000%. Would have been good to get involved back then had you known about it, and you could see that there was actually going to be a long-term use for it. And back those days, not many people could see that there was going to be a long-term use for this particular technology. Of course, back in 2012, the first halving event happened, and Bitcoin over the next 368 days grew a whopping 9,000%. So it grew dramatically from the halving event to its peak in 2012. And again, 9th of July 2016, there was another halving event, and for the next 512 days, the Bitcoin price grew just about 3,000% to the peak of the big boom back in 2017. And only the other day, May 11th, the third halving event occurred. So what I'm going to do now is go through these three different events and how they've affected the Bitcoin price and what's happened with the industry in that time. So this is the Bitcoin Lifetime Graph. You can get this from lots of Bitcoin graphs around the place. So back from prior to 2013 right up to where we are today. We're going to talk about three specific events along this timeline. The first event being the small boom that happened in 2014. The area that really started the second big boom of cryptocurrency. And of course, the timeline for the last 6 months or so, where we are sitting right now. Now, the baby boom of 2014, the first big boom of 2017, and of course the adoption boom of 2020 and beyond. The first baby boom, so what I've done here is just zoom right into that small area of the graph we were talking about in 2014, and over the next 300 or so days, from when it split right through to the peak of the market here, it grew 9,000%. And you can see just after that event, we had a long flattening period where it just flattened out and didn't do a great deal for quite a while. The next event relates to the 2017 event, where we had this long flattening period. We had some volatility in the marketplace just here. And of course, after that volatility, the market really peaked out to when one Bitcoin in Australia got to about $29,000. So 500 or so days after the halving, we went up nearly 3,000%. That's pretty exciting. And the third area here is this adoption area that the adoption boom post-halving. So back in March, we had a reset of currencies around the world. Bitcoin, of course, dipped as well. May this year, we had another big drop just before the halving event, and that was called a bull trap. There's been a few bull traps in the last 12 months as well. So it was a bull trap, but we're seeing now that the Bitcoin prices are starting to regather momentum and moving back up to where they were before and probably beyond. So this little area that we're talking about here is a stability area pre and post halving. If we just go back one chart, we're really referring to this little area that we saw in 2017. So this area here, we're expecting now post-halving for the next year to 18 months. Like the other previous halving events, the increase of cryptocurrency pricing across the board, Bitcoin being one of those, is going to be quite positive, medium to long term. Of course, you're going to expect some of these little corrections on the way, but if you're looking at this medium to long term, you're certainly going to do well. Now, just what do you need to do to take advantage of these halving events and what's happening in cryptocurrency? Well, the best strategy is actually to buy a diverse portfolio of blue chip cryptocurrencies. Now, in a traditional sense, 2019, the classic ways of generating money were very good. Of course, nothing compared to Bitcoin. And of course, the DAXI bundle is even better because you're buying 4 different coins for one transaction. And if we just move that graph along a little bit further from April through to April, of course, you've got Bitcoin at 47%, the bundle at 105%, because this was just around that correction time. It's obviously increased a lot since then. And because the exchange coin and the demand on the exchange coin, we've done really well in the last 12 months. So the exchange coin is always going to be the safest option for an exchange. Now, timing is really important because time waits for no one. And at the moment, we're experiencing the biggest disruption in financial and social history. So the bigger the disruption, the bigger the opportunity. I personally like cryptocurrencies because I'm not taking advantage of anyone else losing. The timing of putting in a new currency is right now, and Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and a lot of the other blue chip coins that are out there, including the exchange coins and community coins, have a very big place to play in world finance. And I'm glad that you're taking the time to learn, looking at this industry seriously, doing your best to understand where you are now, where you would like to be, and how you can gain financial freedom by getting involved with a very big growth area of finance and having that benefit you short-term, medium, and definitely long-term into your future. Thanks for your time. Reach out to the person that introduced this video to you. I look forward to helping you learn, looking forward to seeing how you progress in your journey with cryptocurrency. All the best. Bye-bye.